What? Go follow Max's blog on maximusalpha.com. Why would I get an email for this? This is stupid. Like tracking the prices of products I want to purchase. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to episode number 9 of Everyday Python Projects. In today's episode, we're going to build a price tracker that's going to automatically send us emails anytime the price of this product or service changes. Because this is going to be using web scraping, as long as the URL can be scraped, this can be applied to any sort of product. Alright, let's get into it. There's a ton of libraries we need to use in order to get this done. Pause the video in case you need to install any of these on your computer. Next, we're going to create a function called trackPrices. For this example, I'll be looking at the price of the Bose QC35-2s since I'm considering purchasing these headphones. We're going to perform a web scrape to get the price off the page, so let's set ourselves up for that. If you want more practice as to how you can web scrape, check out my video right at the top. So here the URL is the website, HTML text retrieves the HTML from the page, and then the soup will parse through that HTML so that it becomes easy for us to search for specific information. Next, we need to find the price. In case you're wondering how I was able to find this, let me show you how. So I have the website loaded up, but let's say you needed to find this. You can right-click this, as this is the price we need. Inspect. And it gets us directly to the tag that we're looking for. In this case, it's a div tag with this class. So if we were to copy and paste this and go back to our script, this is where it would go. Were you to run this, you'd find that it keeps the $sign along with the price if you send in a request. To clean this up, I'm going to remove the $sign from the variable price. So I'll write a comment, removes the $sign, and price is equal to price from the first element onwards. Next, we need to get the current timestamp so that we can keep track of when we obtained the price. So we can write time retrieved is equal to datetime.datetime.now, and we're going to use .strf time to format our time properly. Now our time will be formatted by year, month, day, hour, minute, and second. Then we'll create the string that will append to a text file. In this case, I already created one in the same directory where the script is located. So we can write test string is equal to time retrieved plus comma plus price. Now we need to append this to our text file. So file name is equal to raw string price tracker.text. Then we can write with open file name a, and a here means append as f.write test string, and we're going to add a new line. Then we're going to close this file, and that's that. Now we need to check if there's only one price in the text file. If there's only one price after we appended the current price to the file, then there's nothing for us to compare the current price to. However, if there's more than one line in the text file, then we can compare prices to see if there's been any changes. So let's write the following. Check if there is only one price in the file. Now if sum 1 for line in open file name is equal to 1, for each line in the file we're going to increment our count by 1. That way if our sum is equal to 1, we know that there's only one line in the file. So if this is the case, we're going to write pass, and if there's more than one line, we can write else price list is equal to open file name with R this time because we're going to be reading it. Read.split. Then we can write price difference is equal to the following. And I'm just going to copy and paste this as it's easier for me to do that and then explain what I'm writing instead of trying to type it all out here. So what this is saying is we're going to round the last element of the price list minus the fourth to last element of the price list, and we're going to round that to 2 decimal places. So when we read the file, it's structured such that the first element is a date, the second element is the timestamp, and the third element is the price, and then it repeats from there for each request that we send. In case you want to see what this looks like, it looks just like so. So here you can see we have the date, the timestamp, and the price, and it looks like we sent in this request 3 times at 5:15 and 37 seconds, 5:15 and 42 seconds, and 5:15 and 47 seconds. So now we know the current price must be equal to the last item in the list, and previous price must be 3 places behind the current price. That's why we're going to be reading the last and then the fourth to last element of price list. Now that we calculated the price difference, we can figure out if we need to send out any more emails or if we should continue scraping for prices. In order to build the rest of the price tracker, you need to smash the like button so that I can track my life the same way I track the price of these headphones. Please. One thing I forgot to mention, there should be a space after this comma right here, like so. Otherwise, it won't be able to calculate price difference due to formatting issues, so I apologize for that. Okay, if the price difference is not equal to 0, we know that we need to be alerted through an email of a price change. So we can write if price difference is not equal to 0. This is going to be the whole email portion. So here we can see if the price difference is greater than 0, email message info should have increased. If it's less than 0, email message info should say decreased. Email message info is exactly what it sounds like. It keeps track of the direction of the price movement, whether it's up or down, along with its magnitude. Then we need to get our email and password so that we can pass it in later into the code. I strongly recommend retrieving it like so instead of hard coding it into your script, simply for security reasons. So here I have both my email and my password saved in this text file within the working directory. Alright, next we need to set up the server. So here we're going to be using port 465 because that's the standard port for secure messaging as introduced by the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Now, I'm doing all of this through my throwaway Gmail account, which is why the server is smtp.gmail.com. However, if you're using another email provider, I'm sure they'll disclose what server to use for Python. Because we're sending ourselves the email, sender email and receiver email are going to be the same. Next, we're going to create the subject, email body, and message. So here we have the subject, price has, and those brackets are going to pass in whether it's increased or decreased. Remember that increased or decreased is the first element of email message info, which is why we have indexed 0 right here. Then the email body is going to say the price has increased or decreased by a certain amount, and it's going to calculate that based on price difference. Then it's going to tell us what the new price is, as well as the link for us to go to the product. Once again, the direction of the price is the first element of email message info, the price difference is the second element, and then the last thing we're passing in is the price. Finally, message is going to take both subject and email body and then pass it in like so, subject going in here, and email body going in here. The next thing we need to do is to create a secure SSL context. So the context is going to define all of the parameters for setting up an SSL connection, basically the process of being able to actually connect to a server, doing it in a secure way, and then factoring in any edge cases that might break this connection. So all we need to do is to call it. Create a secure SSL context, and context will be equal to ssl.create default context. Extremely simple, one line of code, and it does a ton of work that we don't need to do. Finally, we're going to pass in everything that we just wrote so that we can actually send emails. So we can write with smtp lib.smtp_ssl. We're going to pass in the SMTP server. The port and the context will be equal to context. Define this as server, and then we can write server.login email password, and then server.sendMail, and we're going to write sender email as a sender, receiver email as the receiver, and then pass in the message. Okay, this is very important if you're using Gmail to do this. You have to turn on a feature called Less Secure Apps. Basically, this allows you to log into your Gmail through Python. If you don't turn this on, Gmail will block any attempts to log in. So we have to make sure that this is turned on. Otherwise, the script won't work. Here's how you can turn it on. If we open up a new tab and type Less Secure Apps Gmail, the first link is where we have to go. Less Secure Apps and your Google account. Then if we click on this drop-down arrow and see right here, Less Secure App Access, we can click on this. Now make sure that you're signed in already. That way, when you click on it, it'll open up this window. If we allow Less Secure Apps to be on, then we can log in to our Gmail through Python. The last thing we have to do is schedule this to run, and then we'll be all set. Just for this video, I'm going to schedule this to run every 5 seconds, so you can see this in action. However, in real life, you'll most likely run this only once every hour. So we're going to write this outside of our function. Schedule.clear, then schedule.every 5.seconds, do, and we're going to pass in the name of our function, track prices. Then we can write while true, schedule.run pending, and time.sleep 1. So schedule.clear is important for this to work properly. If you run this multiple times without clearing the schedule, it will schedule multiple jobs, which means you'll be web scraping for the price of the product several times in a row per iteration. If you have other things that you need to be scheduled, make sure that your scheduler is clear before you start running those jobs. That way it won't be repeating itself. If you wanted to change this to run every 5 hours instead of every 5 seconds, it's very easy. You just have to change seconds to hours. Finally, you need time.sleep so that there's sufficient time for the scheduler to process the function before executing it. Without it, it might try to execute the next function before completing the previous function, and that can totally mess up our results. Alright, let's check this out. We're going to run this and see if we can append our prices to our text file. So you can see right here, this is empty. And I'm going to run this. So far we have nothing. And alright, it looks like we have our price at 6:14 and 40 seconds, $299.95. And it looks like it's running every 5 seconds, pulling in the same price of $299.95. So I can stop this from running. Now let's test out the email functionality for changing prices. In order for us to see if this works, I'm going to change the previous price from $299 to $399. That way, when it checks the current price, it'll show that there's been a price difference of $100, and we should get an email saying that the price has now decreased. So if I open up this text file and change this from $299 to $399 and save it, now if we run this, let's check it out. We should be getting an email saying that the price has decreased. Yep, and there it is. Price has decreased, and the price has decreased by $100. The new price is $299.95. And if we click on this, we do in fact get to the website. All right, so I can interrupt this, and we have to do one more check. Now we want to see if we get an email if the price has increased. So we can do a similar thing. I'm going to change the last price we recorded. Instead of $299.95, I'll change this to $199.95. And now if we run this, there should be an email saying price has increased. And there it is, price has increased. The price is increased by $100. The new price is $299.95, and we have our link right here. Fantastic, we're receiving emails for both price changes. Now, my suggestion is that the easiest way to have this run is to open up the command line or the terminal, execute the code, and then minimize that terminal or command line for the day. That way it's running in the background and you can continue doing your normal day-to-day processes without having to worry about this. It's possible that you can do this through a cron job, but for the sake of this video and this Everyday Python Project series, I thought it would be great practice to get used to Python Scheduler library. There you have it. Now you can use this to track any price on any item on any website that allows web scraping. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like below. It really helps out my channel. Feel free to comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Smash the like button.